Hey everybody, it's Q4, and if you're like pretty much everybody else, you're planning for what you're going to do in 2017. And at the base of all of our businesses is our team, whether that's a buyer's agent, a listing agent, or just an ISA or a VA. And look, I got to tell you, if you're doing work that you can outsource to an ISA, like setting appointments, come on. Go find somebody and leverage your time. That's how you're going to grow. Look, I got to tell you, everybody knows we need great talent. Everybody knows they need good talent on their team. But the problem is, how do you find it? How do you find those people? How do you do it effectively from a time perspective? I just met these guys, Wise Hire. These guys will help you grow. Here's what they'll do. Let's say you need an ISA, Wise Hire will, number one, help you craft your job ad. I guarantee you they've written thousands more than you have. Then they'll do the work. They'll post it on all the big job boards. Indeed, ZipRecruiter, you know the places. And here's the magic. As candidates apply, Wise Hire automatically administers the DISC assessment. Okay, that's the personality profile. They'll tell you how close this guy's or girl's personality is to the job that you just posted. So look, if you're serious about growing your business, go check out a couple of great resources from WiseHire. Go to the site, get their free ebook. It's going to teach you everything you know about hiring in real estate. You can go to wisehire.com/super. That's WIZE. hire.com/super. Get your own free profile to learn your personal strengths and weaknesses. And most importantly, if you need to make some hires, register for Wise Hire. Start making smarter hiring decisions today. Welcome to Super Agents Live. This is the one place where you can come and hear the most successful people in real estate. You'll hear how these super agents built their businesses, how they stay productive, and how they stay motivated. Who am I? My name's Toby Salgado, and I made my first million in real estate. And I'm your host for the next 30 minutes while we talk to yet another amazing real estate entrepreneur. Stay tuned.
Let's go! Yeah!
Hey everybody, what's up? How's it going? Hey, we're past the holidays. Hopefully, you guys are in the mindset of a new you in the new year, 2017. So I would love to know what you guys have planned. And you guys have my email. So if you want to email me and let me know, and maybe during the year I can help you stay accountable to that. I'm not going to do this for a boatload of people, so I'm just throwing it out there. The first couple who actually send me an email, I'll do that for. Okay, look, a couple things real quick. Go to the site, superagentslive.com, get on my list, see how I start my little 7-part email engagement series. It's very interesting, the engagement that I've gotten. So I would love for you to see how I've written those, and how and why you guys feel compelled to respond to many of those. The second thing, speaking of emails, today, or most likely tomorrow, which is the 29th, our new site, copyandsend.com, which is, right now we have 300 plus email templates. You guys are most likely not communicating with your database, not nearly enough. So we knew that. So we went out, wrote a bunch of templates, and made this thing super duper cheap. Super cheap. It's crazy cheap. I literally want 10,000 people registered for this thing. It's that cheap. It's that valuable. If you're not a writer, don't try to write. We're copywriters. Let us write these emails for you. So copyandsend.com. Check it out. Lastly, the Get Listing Summit. We're doing a summit. There's an episode that I'm going to drop in the next probably 48 hours talking to my co-anchor that's putting this together, a little bit about his background and what we are doing. The tickets are free, so the 29th, that landing page, getlistingsummit.com, will and should be done. Check that out. Today's episode, Today's episode I did actually recently. I want to say in the last a couple of weeks. We talk about hiring. We talk about this guy's background. He went from typical story, right? Everybody comes on and they're like, oh, I fell into real estate. Now I'm super successful. That's kind of this guy's story. We talk about his pitfalls along the way, about what he did wrong, about how he went left when he should have went right. I think there's a lot of stuff in here for you guys. And if you hear my voice, I did this. I sort of wasn't in the mood to do this interview. Not that I didn't absolutely 100% enjoy it along the way, but you'll hear my voice. I have like a morning voice in that thing. I wasn't sort of tuned up, and I think my brain was working a little bit differently than it usually does. So keep an eye out for that. All right, that's it. Let's get to it. In the show, we're going to talk to a guy that I think a lot of you guys will resonate with. He's not one of those guys with a team of 23. He's not one of those guys doing 800 deals. This is a guy doing 32 deals, but he has a little kind of an interesting niche. He does have a pretty big Facebook group, as far as I know. It's Lead Gen Scripts and Objections. Buddy of mine, Greg McDaniel's always on there, and I think that's how we got hooked up. So we're going to talk to him about what he's doing, and hopefully you guys can pick up a couple nuggets. I'm thrilled to welcome Aaron Whitenstein. I don't know, man. Did I say your name right?
Whitenstein. It's close enough. I've been called much worse.
There you go. All right. So listen, we'll dig into it just real quick. I always am interested about who you are. So take a minute, tell everybody about who you are, Aaron, and then we'll get to what you're doing.
Okay, should it be who I am or who my wife thinks I am?
That's interesting, man. Okay. Well, however.
No, here's the deal. I've been an agent for 16 years now. I'm born and raised in Chicago. You couldn't get a license in Illinois till you're 21. I started at 19 telemarketing out of a telephone book. I was always a decent agent over there, did decent production. I moved to New York January 25th of 2013, and because my wife is originally from here, and at that point we had a 2-year-old, and we wanted to be closer to family. There's a lot more family out this way. Now I have a 5-year-old and almost 2-year-old twins. Started working in real estate here November 1st of 2013. Within the first 2 years, I raised my business up to about $15 million here. A lot different of a business than in Chicago. I mean, the amount of work that you wind up putting in, it's very attorney-driven here. And for the amount of work that I had to wind up putting into these deals, we have a little bit of a higher price point. I've probably sold the equivalent of 60-some-odd homes, in a different market. I had a team of 7 people last year, completely broke it down because I wasn't ready to run a team. And this year, depending on where we're looking, I should close, depending on what closes before the end of the year, between 14 and 16 million. Did about 80% of my business from expired listings.
Well, hold on. Aaron, hold on. I want to stop you there for real quick. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, from just hearing that story, right? You've been in the industry for 16 years. It sounds to me like the story that we hear often, right? I fell into real estate, and you started doing some deals, making a nice living, but not necessarily growing a business. Now, what you said earlier, and again, I could be wrong, so adjust me if I'm off base. But it sounded to me like you started to grow a business, meaning putting together a team. But earlier you said you weren't ready to put together a team. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I think people, find themselves in that situation often.
Well, I mean, here's what happened with me: is when you're a single guy and you base it upon, put it this way, if I could go back 10 years ago, I would kick my own ass for not doing the amount of work that I should have been doing. Yet what happens is when you have a child, and now I have 3 of them, your mindset shifts so much, and I always say it's about your why, it's about your why, it's about your why, and my why just became enormous, because now I've got a 5-year-old, I've got twins, I've got a wife I have to take care of. And I wasn't ready to run a business until I moved here. Everything kind of haphazardly. That story's like an hour-long story. And then what happened is I became very successful very quickly. And from there, I'm like, okay, cool, I want to start running a team. And running a team and managing people is so different than selling real estate. And I didn't do it the right way. I was on pace to I would have done 20, 25 million last year. I just didn't know how to properly run a team. So this year, I broke it all down completely. haphazardly from letting people go, people leaving, and I stripped it down to the bare bones of just myself, virtual transaction coordinator / listing coordinator and a virtual ISA. And this year, I mean, I'm looking at some really big things. I'm about 2 weeks away from hiring an operations manager, and I'm doing it the right way. Sometimes you got to, like I said, break it down to build it back up. So I'm like the phoenix rising from the ashes.
Well, I don't think you crashed and burned from that, but help me. And again, when I say help me, help the audience understand. I agree with you that being a solopreneur, right? You being the business is much easier than actually building a business with a team, and you take on overhead, you take on more risk. What specifically about building a team and building a business where you're the CEO instead of you are, the cook and the dishwasher, you know what I mean? Yeah. What was it that there was not a fit for you? Was it just you didn't have the background? You didn't know how?
It was timing. It was just I let my ego get in the way, and I didn't do it. I kind of halved it. I brought people in that I didn't interview properly because honestly I didn't know what I was doing, and I felt like it was the next logical step to feed my ego rather than to do things the right way. And honestly, I mean, we just had twins, so I was working on no sleep, and I had no idea how difficult it was. I mean, selling is one thing, managing and leading, I shouldn't say managing, leading people. Like I can go train, I do a lot of training, and I teach an expired mastery program, I talk around, kind of the tri-state area, but actually leading people that's lives and income are dependent upon you is entirely different. And I wasn't ready, but yet I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Okay. Now, how do you think that was 2 years ago? You indicated that was a couple of years ago. What has shifted? Do you think you're ready now?
Yeah. Oh, I know it.
Okay. All right. So hold on. So you weren't ready then. You're ready now. What was that? What did that look like? What did that growth look like? So again, people are out there maybe going, "Oh, I kind of feel like that." Am I ready? Am I not? What are the signs? What are the milestones that you reached or passed that you said, "Okay, now I'm ready"?
I think for me is I finally figured out my why in my vision. Mm-hmm. And from there, once I didn't have clarity to where I wanted to go. I was kind of going this way and that way and this way and that way. And until you can really explain a clear vision on what you want, it's hard to bring people in. And I felt that, now I'm number one, I'm too busy where I can't handle it on my own. Yet I've taken the time to learn how to, I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm bad at. That's the one thing that I learned. And I learned that I'm bad at hiring people, so I hired someone to hire for me. And I think, it's a very good question that I never actually thought of. When I failed, after I failed, I knew that I had to fix it. And I think the one thing that is most important is you have to work on yourself first. And once you've kind of mastered who you are to an extent, then from there, you just kind of know it is the best way to put it. And you got to do it the right way. I mean, there's so many ways to hire and build things. Yet if you don't do it the right way, you're setting yourself up for failure.
So Aaron, I don't disagree with anything that you've said, but I think we're just sort of scratching the surface of it. And here's what you said to me just now. You said before you can master who you are, you can't do it, or something to that effect. And then earlier when I said tell us about you, you said, what do you want? Do you want me to tell you who I am or who my wife thinks I am? So maybe those two things I think are correlated. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. The thing is that, what, part of the things that I teach is figuring out your why.
Okay.
And figuring out why you're actually going out and doing something. And I think it's so important where when you explain, your why, everybody talks about your why, what is your why? Until you really get to the heart of why you're actually doing something, like, how can I put it? It's like, it's not the surface one that you feel comfortable sharing with other people until you really get to the root cause of what it is. And it's one of those things that brings you to an emotional place where when you share it with others, you can't say it without bringing tears to your eye. And I think once you hit that place, that's when you know that you are able to when you do that, your mind changes. And, I had, over the last 6 months, I've had a lot of things that got put into place that shifted my mind where I actually knew the reason I was doing everything. And the moment you figure out that sense of clarity, it's like, holy crap, stuff just opens up for you. And, I within the last 6 months, that's been the biggest mindset shift. Before I was doing things at a okay level. Now every day I'm in the office at 7:45 in the morning. I'm picking up the phone, doing my lead generation, calling my expireds. I run a very, very strict schedule. I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning. I work from 8 to 4. I don't work Sundays. I barely work Saturdays. And it's all, like I said, when I gained clarity, I would say over the last six months or so.
Let me tell you how I sort of see kind of what you just said. And because I agree with you, I think we all have to figure out our why. Why do we get up in the morning and do what we do? And that's one thing, but I don't think you can find flow until you match your why with your vision. The why, the what, and then the thing that binds those together is the mechanics of how. I know what my big why is. I have my vision for what I want to accomplish, and now I have this machine that can bind those two together. That's when you're like fired up, energized. You're like, it all clicks. And I think you're trying to express that notion. Is that accurate or no?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say that makes perfect sense. And actually, I never thought about it that way. Thank you. You're pretty good at this. I would. Yes. Okay. I have no argument. Yeah, I agree 100%.
So tell us, Aaron, because you earlier said that you teach people how to find their why, and I think this is a really interesting one. What does that process look like?
Well, the thing is, everybody starts off with their surface why. It's actually a very easy process. When I tend to do it in a group format, when I do some of my trainings and stuff like that. So it's very hard to get someone to break down that much when they're in front of a group of people. Yet the thing is you say, for example, you tell me my why is my children. Then you say, why? They say, because I want to make my kids money. Why? Because I like to buy things. Why? And you just keep digging and keep answering that same question, and then eventually something kind of hits. And once I think, okay, and you just got to be able to listen for it. You're like, because I had a rough childhood. Okay, whoa, okay, slow down there. It's kind of like what you're doing with me right now, and you just keep digging until you can see their face change. And that's something you look for. And when you see their face change, that's when you know you hit something. And that's where you just you tell them, we can either have this conversation, continue it right now, or you need to go lock yourself somewhere quiet and keep digging, basically, until you get emotional. And for me, it happened kind of like haphazardly, but I found there's a lot of people, especially I teach an Expired Mastery course where I talk to 3 different people, and I had 2 out of the 3 of them break down, on the phone call. And I just think once you have to want to be able to do it, but when you're ready, just keep asking why and why and why and why and why until you get emotional.
Do you find that when you go through this process, Aaron, that people can actually? Here's what I think. Here's what I imagine what would happen many times, right? So we're in real estate, and I go to this seminar of yours, and it seems like people will not manufacture, that's not the right word, but create a series of whys that fits their current situation, right? And I think many times, right, people will craft their why around what other people want them to be, right? And kind of like what you said with your wife, right? Your wife wants somebody strong and decisive and successful and strong and smart. And, maybe you mold yourself, you craft yourself into that vision. But I think what I have to ask, is it authentic? So how do you get to? Let me ask you this question: have you ever, in one of your seminars, when you're teaching this process, somebody have the aha moment and go, dude, this industry is not for me. My big why is nothing around this. I'm out. Thanks so much, Aaron. You helped me. I think I need to go teach yoga in Belize.
I haven't, like I said, I very rarely have the opportunity to dig deeply with them. I share mine. When I walk up, I share mine. Every single time I do it, whether it's in front of 10 people on a phone call or in front of 300 people, every single time, I can't hold back my emotion. It's impossible for me to hold it back. And the thing is, with that, I've yet to have anybody come tell me that. I've yet to have it, because I haven't done it enough.
Okay.
But, a lot of things that I've found, it's easy if they have children. If someone has children, it's very easy to figure out their why. It usually tends to be something based upon their childhood that they want fixed and they want the best for their family. That's a relatively easy one. The hardest ones that I've found are the people that don't. And those are the ones that you dig deep into that can be a struggle to find. But I've yet to have anybody say, I want to quit real estate and go into, teaching how to play guitar. So
got it. Okay. So earlier you said something I think is really important. You said that you went through this process, you broke it all down, and you said, I figured out, or I got to the point where I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And this is Michael Gerber's E-Myth, right? Double down on the stuff that you're good at and outsource everything else. How did you go through that process? Because we all want to be Superman. We all want to be great at everything. How did you come to an accurate and honest, authentic realization? Okay, this is the stuff I'm good at. This is stuff I'm not. And then what did you do after that?
We'll put it this way. For the reality of it is, I always know what I've been good at. Okay, it just, for me, the issue is like I'm good at selling. I'm good at getting on the phone and making phone calls. I am good at motivating people. I am good at, and those kind of are the biggest things. I'm good at selling. I'm good at motivating. And, I think I'm learning how to be good at leading. Those are my main focus and my focus. I've always known it's very hard to give up control of certain things, because you always have in the back of your mind, you can do better than somebody else. You can do better. You can do better. You can do better.
Yeah.
And when you try to wear in any business, when you try to wear all different hats, you have to be very conscientious of what you're doing. And like they say, 20% of your activity makes 80% of your income. And with that, it's taking the things that you're bad at, which at the end of the day, you really know what you're bad at. You know where your strengths are.
And you know what you don't like. The stuff that you don't like that's the stuff you're going to be bad at.
It's like, I want to pay someone else to do this stuff for me. And that's the stuff that, that I like, that I don't want to do. I don't like doing paperwork. I suck at it. My grammar is horrible. I speak to my wife. I have her look at every email before I send it. I'm not good at paperwork. That's why no matter what, I have a transaction coordinator that can handle all that for me. I'm really good at making phone calls. I can get on the phone and crush those, so and from there, it's like, all I want to do, I want to pick up the phone, I want to make appointments, I want to go on appointments, and I want to sell listings, and I want to motivate people on a large scale. That's all I want to do.
So let's talk about sales a little bit, because that's if I the whole 10,000 hours thing, right? If I said, hey, what's your 10,000 hours? I think you would say sales. How do you think about sales? And for me, like, the way, and again, this is not about me, this is about you, but the way I see sales as persuasion, right? I need to persuade you into my way of thinking. How would you describe sales? Well, let's just start high level there.
Sure. I look at it as being a triangle. Sales is number one. If we're looking at direct sales, is people need to trust you. Number two, they need to respect you. Number three, you need to show them, you need to make them understand that you're good at what you do. And then from there, once you hit those three levels, that's when you can push someone in your direction. And then from there, it's just kind of shifting them towards not what you want them to see, but what you genuinely feel they need to see, and helping them get to that realization.
So I 100% agree with all that. So that's you're kind of explaining the know, like, and trust deal or concept in a slightly different way. What is the process by which that here? Let me just set the table here. So I believe exactly what you're saying. And for us, we believe there's a 4-step process, right? It is first indoctrination, second engagement, third ascension, fourth segmentation. Now, the indoctrination piece is the whole know, like, and trust. Everybody needs to know who I am, what I do, what my mission is, and why that's my mission. That's mission critical to moving somebody into the engagement process. And for you, I think that's a trust piece. And it also, I think, would tie into your expert piece, your last piece. How do you work that first trust bucket?
Trust is earned, I feel. And what I found is, as long as you present your authentic self to somebody and you show who you are, you're either going to trust me or you're not. You can either, because from being in sales for 19 years, you can read through someone's BS in a heartbeat. And my opinion is that as long as you show your authentic self, that's all that matters. You come across straightforward, and that's who I am. I am who I am. That's it. I try not to mold myself towards other people. I've tried that. It doesn't work. When I come across as who I am, you're either going to trust me or you're not. It's that simple.
Okay. Well, it is that. I agree with you. It is that simple. But I think at the underlying cause of you being able to project your authentic self, if you, I don't even have to ask you this. If you project your authentic self, I guarantee you meet people where you could do a deal with that person, but they don't. Their values or viewpoint is not in alignment with you, and I'm sure you just walk away from those. Is that accurate?
Typically, yeah.
Typically.
Yeah, but like I said, I would say more so than not, if they don't meet what I feel and they don't like who I am, then it's almost like I've got to become somebody that I'm not. Mm-hmm. And I've done that, and it always winds up coming back and biting you in the ass. Mm-hmm.
So, but that was a setup for, at the underlying thing of this, being able to walk away from a commission check, a deal, is you have to have an abundance mindset. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. If you're going after business, you don't want it because you don't have enough leads.
Right. So how did you develop that abundance mindset? Because I think so many people are operating out of a scarcity mindset.
It's so hard. For the longest time, I mean, I have come from when I was younger. My father passed away when I was young, so we had money, and then all the money got lost, and then we had this and didn't have that. So for a long time, I was operating on a scarcity mindset. I would say up until probably the last 18 months, I've operated on a scarcity mindset.
Wow.
Because I wouldn't be able to look at my checking account because it would freak me out. I'd be the type of person, I could have $50,000 in my bank account, and I'd feel like I had nothing because I was always scared, where my anxiety level, because I suffer from, pretty bad anxiety, where it took over. What wound up happening is that I did a lot of work on myself. Number one is that you realize when there's an issue, and then from there, the one thing that I realized is that when you can, like you said, you go back to the 10,000 hours. When you consistently do an activity upon an activity upon an activity, and you work your way to become a master of that craft. For me, it's expired listings. That's what I do. I know that if I do my work, I will see results. And I have that confidence that I will see results because I'm doing the same activity over and over and over again. And when my mind I don't remember the exact time that it shifted. It's impossible for me to remember it. But it's just that innate feeling that you have that, number one, everything's going to be okay, which is hard because, you got to know, like, if you jump, that the net's there to catch you, and that you're good enough at what you do that there's nothing that can hold you back, and you're always going to have enough. And now, it's like, for example, today, I woke up this morning with 3 bad newses in a row. One deal fell apart. I didn't take one listing, and one person decided they don't want to sell anymore. If you would have taken me back 3-4 years ago, my entire day would have been shot.
Wow.
The way that I look at it, that was what I woke up to this morning. Okay? Yet, I didn't let it faze me. And the thing is, what happened, I'm like, all right, screw it. I got 3 of them out of the way, on to the next. And the biggest difference between the people that succeed at a high level and the people that don't is the people that succeed, they take the beatings, they just move on from them as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, 100%. You just got beat. Like what? You just got beat up in a bar fight. What are you gonna go do? Like you gonna relive it? So I 100% agree. And by the way, you said I got 3 bad newses, and then earlier you said you had bad grammar. I don't buy it at all.
Oh yeah, no, I said, but that was
I'm totally kidding you.
No, my grammar's atrocious.
I know.
I couldn't think. What do I say? I got 3 pieces of bad news. That doesn't sound good. 3 bad news sounds better.
I love it. I'm totally ribbing you. I did that actually.
I love it.
So I did that because I wanted to change topics. So I want to talk to what you're good at, right? Because there are 10,000 hours. You have mastery. You said that word. You said I have mastery. And once I realized that I had mastery over this topic, this subject, all of a sudden you could accept that bad news and move on because you know you have the talent. Then you just have to put in the work. So you found this niche, or you got mastery over expireds, and you teach a course on this. So let's talk about expireds.
Sure.
You teach it, so you go.
Okay, so I think I'd put it this way: a master is 10,000 hours. Okay, I'm not a master yet. I'm on my way to doing it. I figured as long as over the last 3 years, if I cold called for 200 days out of the week at 3 hours a day, I'm at 1,800 hours. And that means that I'm almost a fifth of the way to being a master at doing this. So, what happens, I mean, especially with expired listings, is that the way that I look at it is the easiest form of lead generation. Mm-hmm. Because what happens is you have somebody whose house didn't sell. They want to work with an agent. They're just pissed off because their house didn't sell. So what I look at it is where when I started, I was horrible. Yet now the way that I look at this whole thing is that my mindset, once again, when you come from that mindset of abundance and a mindset of contribution, number one, is that I look at it as, let's say Joe on 123 Smith Street, their house didn't sell. Maybe Joe is living in too small of a house. He's having arguments with his wife because they're ready to kill each other because they're right there. They need to get a bigger home to be in a better school district for their children. The first agent didn't do their job properly, thus getting their house sold. So therefore, I'm doing them a favor by making that phone call. And the thing is, these people, they answer the phone, whether I get the appointment or not, I'm there to help first. And if they hang up the phone on me, it's like, screw it, on to the next. And it's just building up your thick skin and having the proper scripts, the proper tactics in place to be able to do it. But the biggest part about it is the consistency. Every morning, every single morning, Monday through Friday, except on Tuesdays because now I'm part of a B&I group, I'm at the office at 7:45 in the morning contacting the new expireds for the day, every single morning. If I don't do that, I feel dirty. I can go sell 10 houses, close 30 deals in a day, and if I haven't lead generated, I don't feel right.
Well, so what you said earlier, Aaron, you said that it's all, if you have the right scripts, if you have the right tactics. So let's talk about tactics first. Tactically, how do you approach an expired? And I can tell you the way we talk about it over here.
Sure. When it comes for me is, the first, are we in regards to phone calls or what are you, in regards to the first phone call that I make, my script is very different from most people. Do you want to role play?
Yeah, I'm 100%.
Quick rundown. Okay.
Hello.
Hi. I'm looking for the owner of 123 Smith Street.
That's me. Who's this?
Hi. My name is Aaron. I'm a local realtor. Side note, the reason I ask for it by street name is, number one, you can't ask for a dead person. Number two, you can't worry about butchering the name. And then I say, my name is Aaron. I'm a local realtor because I only go by my first name. Okay. And then the reason I ask being a local realtor is then you don't have the objection of your company has called me 30 times. Good. You're probably aware your home came off the market last night. So they're like, okay, they don't, they either are like, what the heck is going on? Or it doesn't make them sound stupid. And I'm just trying to figure out, how in the world did your house not sell?
I don't know. My agent told me he was going to market it. He put it on the MLS and, we got a couple showings. I'm as baffled as you, Aaron.
Sure. So side note, what happens is when I ask you that question, it's a pattern interrupter. It's the same thing as if I was to pick up a pen and throw it at you in a training, you would grab it. You can't answer no to that question. So what winds up happening is when I answer that question, you're going to get one of 5 answers. Then based on those answers, it's a question on how I respond. So, like, for example, you just gave me the bad agent marketing one. Okay, so let me understand. Your house was not marketed properly, and you felt your agent didn't do a good job, correct?
Yeah, well, look, the guy came. He told me it was worth $1 million. I believed him. I thought he was an expert. He said he was. Look, it's been on the market for 6 months. We got 2 showings.
Sure. No, I totally.
So if you can't, hold on. I just want to, Aaron, if you say that you can't believe my house didn't sell, I have to assume first that you believe also my house is worth $1 million, correct?
Are we on topic, or is this a side note?
No, we're role playing.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry about that. I went off on a side note. Here's the thing: is what I'm looking at here is that I'm looking at your property. It's in the right area. It meets the right standards, and like I said, I'm just surprised it didn't sell. I mean, it sounds like the agent and the marketing were poor. And what my team actually does is we specialize in selling homes around the market for extended periods of time without selling. I've taken listings that are on the market as long as 1,039 days and flipped them around in 29. How can I help you?
Look, we need to move out. My house is worth $1 million.
Okay.
You bring me an offer, Aaron.
Oh, I wish I could. That would make both of our lives a heck of a lot easier. Like I said, I would love to stop by, take a look at your home, see if there's an opportunity. What works better for you, late morning, early afternoon, or Saturday?
Yeah, anytime. Okay. So
Anytime?
Let me ask you this. Okay, perfect. So that's a good script. And I thought I had you on the ropes there, and you brought it back saying, "Hey, I'd love to." So you did great. So what other than do you use a multi-pronged approach, or is it for you? It's just your first and only way of attacking is a phone call? Do you do a follow up with any online or offline marketing supporting your expertise in the world of expireds?
Well, what I do is, now keep in mind, when I tell people we lead generate for later. Very rarely do I get an appointment on the first shot. It's very rare. People are surprised. They're kind of shocked. I learned this quickly. The first 3 months I started calling expireds. I started November 1st. I didn't get an appointment for 3 months. February, my first year, I took 8 listings. So the thing is that you were a slam dunk. I was going to get the appointment. If you tell me you're vacant, blah, 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 you want to sell ASAP, I'm going to push that appointment. But what will happen is my intent is to get a callback scheduled. So the goal is either 1 appointment or 4 callbacks scheduled. Like today, for example, I set up 2 appointments from callbacks. I have a database right now of 718 expired listing callbacks that are set over the next 2.5 years. So I built my database. So what will happen is the moment that we talk, what I will then do is I will send you on an email with my 150-point marketing plan, my pre-listing package, and my expired evidences of success, which is like 60 listings, and it shows how long they're on the market, and how long we sold them. Then from there, if you tell me to call you back in 6 months, I cut it in half to 3 months. I don't currently have the support staff here to be able to do anything else with email drip campaigns or anything like that, but I found that works pretty well. Very basic.
Do you again? Do you have any? So hold on. Why don't you have? I'm having a hard time. I know you have a team of VAs, a bunch of VAs. Why do you think you can't do a drip campaign? I'm super confused with that.
It's just one of those things I never set up. Honestly, I've never set it up. I've had success with what I've had. And it's to keep in mind the VAs, it's an ISA and it's a transaction coordinator, so I don't actually have someone sitting here with me. But it's not like I said, I'm hiring an operations manager within the next 2 weeks.
Okay. This
is one of the first things. It's just not something I'm good at, nor do I want to do.
Got it. Wow, man. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, so I mean, that's okay. Well, that's good for. Look, I mean, I think this, even though that's a hole in your business and that's a really obvious hole, I think people listening to someone like you and go, I think a lot of people going, crap. Okay, I'm not alone. I'm not good at that either, Aaron and Toby. And I will say this. I will say, everybody, we are building out our copyandsend.com. We have 200 templatized emails that are like you can buy them in packages. You're going to be able to access the whole library for like $8 a month. So that's coming. Stay tuned. And I think the other thing that we're going to do, Aaron, and I was going to ask you about it is, we believe in a multi-pronged approach. So certainly you should have the phone call, continue following up with phone calls, follow that up with emails explaining why houses expire, explaining what your secret sauce is. And then, and this is going to be on copyandsend.com. We're going to have a 7-part direct mail series. So we want to hit them on the phone, we want him in the email, and we want to hit them in their mailbox. And here's the other thing. What we believe you guys should do, and we can't do this for you, but you should have a landing page where, and it's in your email, or send it to them. Go, hey, go watch my quick, 4-minute video on what we do, whatever. So they go to the landing page, and then on that landing page, you have a Facebook pixel, and now you can retarget them with ads when they're on Facebook. So I'll bet
Can I just hire you to do this for me?
No, I mean, but
are you looking for another job by any chance?
No, man.
I'm just going to hire you to do this.
I can talk to you about it, but I bet if you follow that model, Aaron, I bet your conversions would blow up like crazy.
Oh, I'd love to. Believe me, and that's what I'm saying is that's what I'm missing. And, those are the things I need to help my business because I'm not good at it. For me to go sit down and put a campaign together and to send mails, I'm never going to do it. I could say I'm going to do it, but I'm just not going to.
So I love it. So let me ask you this, Aaron. You're not good at hiring, but you're going to hire an operations person who then is going to hire. How are you going to, you're not good at hiring, but you're going to hire the person that hires. Like, I hired someone to hire for me. Okay, good. Who?
I hired, I hired Lindsay Soprani with Soprani Consulting. She's hiring for me.
Got it.
So she's already talked to 142 people. She's doing the whole process for me.
Interesting. So. Okay. All right. Listen, we're gonna start wrapping up here. I'm gonna ask you. This is a crazy question. If you don't have an answer, totally fine. Most people don't. But it's this. So we've covered a lot of ground here. Mindset. I mean, all sorts of. What haven't I asked you? But I should have asked you. What did I miss?
What haven't you asked and what I have missed?
What should I have asked you?
You didn't ask me why I do what I do.
Yeah, what is your big why?
Okay, so for me, since I'm not telling the whole story, it probably won't get as emotional. My father passed away when I was 3 years old. And because of that, I never had a chance to, be around him. When I was 18 years old, we were living, basically my mom wasn't able to afford where we were living anymore. We were about to get evicted from our apartment. And I never want my children to feel either one of those things. I never want them to feel anything financially, and I want to be there for them, and I'm not willing to sacrifice that. That's why I do what I do.
But let me ask you this, Aaron. So that's a terrible, awful story. You again, the phrase you said earlier, like Phoenix rising from the ashes. I now kind of understand how you meant that. Do you think if you create this life of prosperity for your children where they never had to worry about anything, right? And it's Xboxes here and the Porsche in the driveway and grease.
No, they will never have that stuff.
Well, I don't know. Well, my question is, how do you, that experience is what has made you hungry. That experience has shaped who you are today and why you feel dirty if you don't prospect every day. How do you think you're going to inspire or indoctrinate your children into a life of, I want more and I can do it and I'm going to do it and I'll get dirty and I don't care about being rejected. And how do you put that badge or that jacket on them?
You never change who you are.
Okay.
You never let any of this stuff get to your head, and you continue the same work ethic that you've always had, and you always consider yourself being at the bottom. And you always, every day you're coming in, you are working for something, and when they see that, and when they see that you're going to bust, like, my 5-year-old sees me every morning for 15 minutes, and he's like, Daddy, where are you going? And I said, I am going to work, so Daddy can bring home money so you can eat and we could put diapers on the baby's butts.
Okay.
And he's like, Daddy, don't go. And I'm like, no, buddy, I have to go, and trust me, you will thank me for it later. Yet they're happy to see me when I come home at 5 o'clock every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a way that you teach your children that you never let the stuff get to your head. I'm always the person that I was. And my kids, they're not buying a car. I'm not buying them a car unless they can pay for their insurance and their gas. And I just think it's just instilling that, because the last thing I want to have is, I'm not going to have spoiled little kids.
Yeah, no, good.
They're going to see my work ethic, and that's it.
Well, I asked that question because I have 3 kids and I'm struggling with that same thing. How do I, we do have Porsches in the garage, and we do have, we have vacation houses and we have rental houses, and I'm constantly struggling to, I want to make them hungry. I want them to they have tremendous potential, and I want to raise them in a way that they're certainly comfortable, but they are hungry for more for their own personal life. Let me ask you this. We always ask for a book recommendation. I did not, Aaron, I did not set you up, and I never set anybody up. I never give them this. But here's the question, or here's the setup. I'm an aspiring agent. I have $25. What book do I need to buy today?
The One Thing by Gary Keller.
Yeah, it's a good book. So everybody, if you haven't read The One Thing, it's a good one. There's some very good, simple reminders, a very easy, quick read. You can go get a copy on us. Go to audibletrial.com/superagentslive. Sign up. They'll give you a free book. And that The One Thing, I endorse. It's a good one. Aaron, I know that you are, I think, having the mindset, you have an abundance mindset. You are a consistent guy. If you don't prospect, you feel dirty. Is there a personal habit that you have that you feel has contributed to your success?
Personal habit. I would say right now, the biggest habit is my morning routine.
What is that?
I'm up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning. Between the hours of 5 and 5:15, I'm getting my personal stuff done for the morning. Between 5:15 and 5:45, I am kind of looking at fantasy football, playing around on the internet. For the next hour, I'm working. Then I go in the garage and I work out for 30 minutes. I walk the dog. I kiss my children. I walk outside of the house. I'm in the office at 7:45. I'm on the phone. I'm time managed to the minute. Between the hours of 5 o'clock and between 5 and 5, I'm time blocked to the minute. And you so you never work Sundays. Do you turn your phone off? I mean, are you that like, okay, I'm done? Phone's on airplane mode.
Wow.
6 o'clock, my phone is on airplane mode.
Wow.
I have a backup cell phone that I use. I let my voicemail be my security, if you will. So, and if people don't respect it, they're not my client. Did
you say earlier? Did I mishear you? You said that you don't work after 4.
My goal is to be home by 4 o'clock every day.
Okay.
Just because the kids wake up for the nap. If I want to do something with Lucas, that's my big guy. But my phone's off at 6 every night. My phone's off at 6.
And do you set when you onboard a new client? Do you tell them that up front? Like, listen, if you call me after 6 p.m., I'm not available unless like the house is burning down. I mean, do you set those expectations up front?
Oh, yeah. What I tell them is that after 6 and on Sundays, that's when I spend time with my family. And if you need anything, I'll get back to you the next business day. If we are negotiating a deal or something, I'm not going to put that on the table. I have a backup phone just for that purpose. But most people, I would say I have yet to have anybody that doesn't respect that. And the one thing people tell me is that I completely respect that. People... when you respect your time, others respect your time. It's that simple.
I 100% agree. And it's so crazy. So many people are scared to tell their clients that. But, what would you say if your doctor said, hey, listen, Toby, Aaron, I'll take your phone call, which is amazing that your doctor will take, you can have his personal, but after 6, I'm not going to take it. Like, how many people would expect their doctor to take a 9 p.m., phone call? Unless you, there's some, I have some disease and he's treating me. So yeah, that's important. I think everybody should have that mindset like you. All right, hey man, here's the deal. I always encourage everyone to reach out to my guest if they've gotten anything out of this and to say thank you. Where can people find you, learn more about who you are and what you do?
They can go to my Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/got objections like got milk. I do live lead generation into the group almost on a daily basis. You can Facebook message me. I'm running an expired course right now, expiredmastery101.com. I think we got a couple slots left for January, the rest for February. Or you can email me at aaron@westchestersells.com.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, I'll kick off the thank you train. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, man. This was, I was not expecting this whatsoever. I really appreciate you digging in a little bit deeper. Very rarely do I get... I should say this is the first time I've ever been interviewed where I've actually taken more from the interview than I've given. Thank you.
You got it, buddy. Anytime.
Let's go.